and welcome to KYE Talks. I am Sonal Ambekar, your host for this interview. Today's interview is powered by MD Investments, founded by Mr. Mandar Datar, an excellent insurance and investments agent. Find the link to MD Investments down below in the description box. Let's begin with today's KYE Talk. Having industrial training at various institutes, Mr. Tanaji Patil started his luck in Pune and later shifted to Nashik in 1985. He then attempted his fortune in industrial engineering services and shifted his focus solely on supply and founded Chetan Enterprises. They are into stocking and supply of engineering service in sheet metal. Today, we will be talking to Mr. Chetan Patil, son of Mr. Tanaji Patil. He completed his education and soon joined the family business immediately. A second-generation entrepreneur, Chetan has worked on turnkey projects for his company and has now taken over the reins. Let's get to know more. Hi, Mr. Chetan.
Yes, good afternoon, everybody. It's like a pleasure to see myself on KYE and talk about my business here.
We're happy to have you here, sir. So my first question to you obviously is, a lot of times we hear that kids who come from a family, who have a family or business background, who have a family business, they sometimes are not very keen on continuing that business. They want to try something else. They want to explore something else. But what would you say was your motivation to, walk into your father's footsteps and take this family business ahead?
It's every kid's story about getting lost about his future and his perseveration about his business and career. It was the same story for myself also, but eventually during my graduation and all, for a part-time or so, I started going to my office and all and started involving the activities thereafter. So eventually, somewhere in back of my mind, I started my attraction for joining this business sooner or later. But then I gave a second thought about what if I explore the world and opportunities that are there outside, just rather to join my ready-made business. So in order to pursue these goals, after my graduation, I pursued my education in masters, and I focused all my education about my business related activities. So like we are into trading and stocking. So what if I explore myself in international business? So this is why I came into my Bachelor of Foreign Trade for my graduation, and thereafter my PG in international exports.
Wow. So during your education only, you knew it that you wanted to, take ahead this family business, and that is what you need to get, education or need to gain more knowledge about, so you can take this business to international levels.
Yes. Rather than just immediately starting my business, I gave myself a luck to explore the world. So in order to do that, I did my MS, and soon after I gave myself some business exposure, that to on field work rather than just on book knowledge. I went abroad across all the countries wherein the engineering world was recreated, it was developed. So I went to the big companies, big countries, and even the new technologies. So 10 years back, talking about the technologies, like laser was something very fancy and something new to this. Yes. I believe 10, 12 years back, this word was also heard by very few people. So I gave my try and started knowing about what was lasers and all. So I ended up going to the manufacturing units of each company that were providing these lasers. So eventually what happened, I got to know like what would be the future after 10 years that people would be seeking in my industry. So this is how I started creating more interest, more knowledge, more expertise, and even diversification of my project, entire product range. So this is how this company today is stable enough, and we are having a good growth rate of more than 30% even in the pandemic.
Wow, that's
so
wonderful.
Even this, yes. This is just because it's like my personal focus about knowing the industry, knowing the present market scenario, or you can say about what you can visualize in the upcoming future that is coming ahead. Yes.
Right. It's important to make a trajectory plan, to know that, to kind of predict what could happen, what could not happen, to think about all the possibilities and then plan accordingly and work. It's very important.
Yes, eventually I think so. There are some economical barriers. People think it is barrier, but I would say economical opportunities, you can term it as. See, lockdown, GSTs. Just before that, there was this thing. What was this currency stuff?
Yeah, demonetization.
Demonetization. Sorry. So, pardon me for that. So, even the demonetization stuff, we took it positively and we acted immediately on what are the emphasis that are to be taken.
What can be
in
done?
Order to, yes, in order to avail the restriction that was caused because of these economic problems. So, I believe even this pandemic, barriers for every business is about how to run your business. So, for me, immediately, I believe it was like, let's talk about the story last year also. 22 March 2020, it was the day when it was declared complete lockdown across the country.
Yes.
Right. But within, I say, 24 hours to 48 hours, I came up with a business opportunity, and so within 48 hours, my entire business was back to its foot. I believe we were in the top 5 to 2 companies in the city of Nasik who got permissions to run our business. So I believe everything should be taken positively, and that is the way you can achieve your goals.
I think that the credit for that goes to your presence of mind, like using up that presence of mind and making things, work and happen, even though like the government had made it very difficult for any company to actually work because it was a countrywide lockdown. I think it was because you had that presence of mind of how to go about it quickly and how to get things done so your company can continue.
Yes, I believe within 24 hours we are on our feet. So rather than sitting and worrying about what to happen, we already had something that we had to do.
Right. Since you said about this thing that could have been considered as a barrier by a lot of people, but you looked for an opportunity in it, I would like to ask you, you've seen your father who had started this business. You must have seen him as you grew, as you were growing up. You must have seen him, and while talking to him, you must have seen that there were certain difficulties when he started. So do you know of any such difficulties, and how would you have went about it if you were in his shoes? Do you have any such thing in your mind?
Yes, we can compare the difficulty level, but we cannot compare the way it was supposed to be solved in today's scenario.
Yeah, back then, a lot of factors that contribute to any situation were different, and now it's a lot different, of course.
So if let's talk about 30 years back, there was nothing that was personal media or networking. Whatever we used to do, it had a difference of at least 1 week and above. Right. Even if you try and put up some order or execution of any stuff, it took a very long time.
Yeah,
today that is not the situation. Also, people had barrier about reaching to the buyers and sellers and even the manufacturers. So we had a limited scope and extracting the opportunity in that very limited source with such a big lag. I think so it's very difficult for me to even think about it at this very moment. You cannot just imagine how the different devices or even the different mediums to communicate, do your business, even solve the problem. See, engineering comes up with lots of paperwork, lots of idea, a lot of preparation, lots of blueprints and all. I don't think so. Doing this kind of profile 30 years back would be very easy for us or even for my dad to do it. But somehow those problems at that time, like let's talk about that problem 30 years back. See, there were very few people in the profile what he started up this business. Right. We were first into engineering profile cuttings and all.
Please tell me what exactly it is, because I'm sure like a lot of the audience like me would not be knowing exactly what it was.
Engineering profile is nothing but just sheet metal cutting equipment. So we were into sheet metal cutting. My firm earlier known for some X name, now we are not into it. That company we were into profile cuttings. I believe after Mumbai and Pune and one more city, we were the person who started this business. Okay. I believe any business has its demography. So if a person is able to realize the demography of his business or any specific business, that is what he can pursue his own business opportunity. I believe anything, a product and a commodity or even a service has its geographical boundary. If a person realizes that boundary and is able to crack down that deal, it's a business. That's it. This is what my business principle and my theory belong. If I'm able to sell a product in a specific region that nobody is able to serve it at a constructive cost, then that is what my business opportunity is. So we started this opportunity. We grew up very fast. We started with one firm. We had 3 firms, later on 3 companies. We also had around 2 or 3 some patented products. So this is how our industry run. We were into pipe manufacturing also. I believe what corporation water supply you drink at your home. We were in one of the first key supplier and manufacturer to do it in the city of Nasik and even the district. Wow. So we had a entire plant that was serving this requirement 30 years back, day and night, 365 days. So this is what our firm had a background earlier. Wow. But that was completely about manufacturing, planning, procurement and all, and selling that entire product to a buyer. Right. Now with this firm, Chetan Enterprises, we are only into designing, tailor-made machining and supply of equipments related metals, you can say. Like, it's more technically, I'll just simplify it to you. We only supply component, basic sheet metal to component manufacturers. So whatever you buy, whatever you buy, anything that is in metal, before it is tailor-made for you, the raw material is supplied by us. Okay. To more simplify you, we sell this sheet metal to engineering equipments, pharmaceutical, food and drugs industry. Okay. Then into commercial sector, like whatever you do see in the interior stuff. These days, what you see in the laser cards, furniture items. Got it. So we supply this sheet metal to these people. They cut it down for you, customize their equipments, and then they sell it to the end customer. Right. So usually I would ask this question, what gives you a sense of accomplishment? But I think I should ask you, what makes you, Chetan, what makes you feel that you've done a good job? Because sometimes following into your father's footsteps can be like you have to reach a certain benchmark that is set by your father in the industry, and you must have to make sure that you are being up to mark. So what makes you feel that you are doing good job? See, about working in an industry or any product or any corporate sector, you need to know the demography of your company. Right. What are your pros and what are your cons? So fortunately, I was connected to good NGOs and many social platforms in the past 10 to 15 years. Right. So I went through a lot of business trainings and all, and I got to know about how to train yourself in various platforms, various scenarios. So I was well prepared about any circumstances that went in my personal business profiles. Right. Or any industry in my industrial zone. So what I did is, I started up listing all my problems, jotted it down, and eventually when these problems were listed, I came to certain decisions that were supposed to take. Yeah. Somewhere with me, somewhere against even my dad's decision. So I took those crucial steps. I believe it is not easy job to convince somebody to go at a lower business requirement when the entire market has a big opportunity. Right. So back in 2016 and 18, we even did that. Like bought my business at 100% and from 100% to 30%. Okay. Just to overcome all these upgradation, right. The accomplishment what you are speaking about. Right. Yeah. For me to achieve those accomplishments, there were some difficult times. It took me around 2 years for me to just put my views and my perspective bring my business and my turnover back to 30%. I believe it is not an easy job to do that.
Of course not. Of course not.
Yes.
But
Eventually,
sometimes you need to break that chain or break that flow to, you know, like you said, to make those upgradations and to make sure that you're updating the workflow of what was happening, to make sure that then you can double up what your business was. Sometimes you have to
exactly this is what I did. So eventually, after say 2 years of my efforts, that were rigorous effort, I believe it was working from neck to neck, it paid off. Wow. Within just 6 months, we started that whatever decision it took, it was so constructive enough that we were able to hit the this thing, demonetization, the GST regime. Even the ups and downs, you see, like lots of businesses had a very diverse effect back in 2019.
Yes.
There was a very big global crisis in industrial zones in India. So we were able to cope up with that and also grow with our audit, with our balance sheet that was compared to 17 and 18s. Wow. And even in 20, we grew more at 30%. In 2021, what our CMA data tells us, like we are again growing by 30%. Right. So all those projections come with some accomplishment. This accomplishment comes with my visuals, what needs to be changed at this very moment, what products to be changed. We started up this Chetan Enterprise firm. We started up with the basic metals like sheet metal, roofing structure and all. Turnkey projects, we did it in that period also. Industrial shades, some machine infrastructure related stuff. We had a very vast exposure even in that area, that period also. But now the firm, what we are doing right now, we are more into specific products. So I believe it has paid off.
Of course.
All the decision we took has paid off.
I think it definitely has paid off because you were able to, take everything head on. Every problem that has come in the economy or in the industrial sector, you were able to take it head on because of all the decisions that you made. So I think it definitely paid off. So Chetan, what would you say? Do you want to add something?
Yes. No. Go ahead.
So I was asking you where do you see Chetan Enterprises in say 5 years of time? Like now you've reached to a certain level, but I'm sure you must have certain business aspirations or business plans that you aspire to achieve. So where do you see yourself in 5 years?
Until now, all these stories were in the books, but I'll place it down in front of you that probably we are planning to put one or the other unit in at least in the city of Pune, which will be in somewhere around Chakan and all. Okay. We are more focused in stainless steel. This is the core product of for us, and we are able to crack down good business opportunity in this product itself. So probably we will start up some more than 2 units in coming period. Plus, I have a good experience in food industries. Food industries like in manufacturing of food equipment. So probably I've also started up for setting up a food plant, like food processing plant in Solapur district. Oh. So probably by 2022, we'll start up this project. The land and acquisition is already done.
So it's running, it'll soon happen.
Yes, we have spoken to 2 or 3 business contractors about the supply of same food related items, and I'm able to crack down 2 to 3 deals that would accomplish my business goals in that specific product.
That's great. We wish you all the luck, Chetan, for it.
Yes. Thank you.
So, what would you say are the changes that you may have noticed as you joined this family business? Like, what would you say you have learned through your journey?
Let's put it more practical. See, just joining and knowing your business is not just the stuff or need of the call. Today's industrial background asks the person to know about the law, you can say about the law experience or industrial legislation. If you are aware of it, I believe any legal difficulty that is unfortunately on your shoulders, you will be able to cope up with it. I've gone through a lot of experiences in the court and court proceedings, but I think so the more you talk, the more knowledge you take, it is an easier walk for you rather than stucking up with some issues. I will also suggest the new upcoming businesses, participate in trade fairs. See, if you ask somebody about the information right away at a spot on, he will unable to express you. But it is the trade fair, B2B meetings. You can say about meetings. These are the platform will teach you about their experiences. With trade fairs, you'll get to see the products. You'll get to see the differences in the industries. I would admire the new entrepreneur that they should participate in the local district level so that they can differentiate what is the local opportunity. They can participate in national level trade fairs and then further go to international trade fairs. That is the platform that is expected. You immediately, whatever you see abroad, you can say that within a span of 2 to 3 years, these changes will be emphasized in your industrial background. So I would suggest that people should adopt to the change. The change is not the change, and the change will happen when you explore the world.
Yeah, and going to trade fairs could help them, to be in one area and yet get to know the experiences of people who may have explored the world. That also helps.
Exactly.
So Chetan, thank you for this message. I was going to ask you what message you would like to give the entrepreneurs, but is there any message that you would like to give to people who may have an idea or they have, identified a void in the market, but they're too scared to take the risk and to try their hand at being an entrepreneur? Do you have any message for them?
Yes, my personal message, I discussed it earlier also at the beginning of the interview also. Every product has its own demography. Okay. Right. So if a person feels that there is a hurdle or there is any difficulty in launching their product or starting up a business in that specific area, he should first explore that market, that region, I would say rather the nation also. So he'll get to know what is the basic competition or the opportunity in that specific area. Even if he wants to start up a new business, he should understand that every product has a geographical limit. And if a person is able to crack it down, it's his business. That is his business achievement. That's it. I'll just say it's achievement, not even an opportunity. It's an achievement. A person for knowing that the need for the product in that specific area itself is an opportunity. The rest, it is up to him how he explores that opportunity.
Yes, right.
Yes. Apart, I see that everything you can buy and sell in any part of the world, or say even in your region. The only thing is you need to know that you can sell it.
Right.
That's what I believe. Buying or starting a business is not a difficulty at all. You can start up with a small.
What is needed, right?
Yes. The moment when you realize this fact that yes, you have identified certain thing that you can do it or pursue it, I think so anything thereafter is an easy go for you. That is what you can find yourself confident enough.
Right. Wonderful message, Chetan. Thank you for coming here on KYE Talks and sharing about your journey. And thank you for letting us know what a second generation entrepreneur is like.
Yes. Thank you, Ms. Sonal.